Every single time a debate pops up about the greatest anime villains of all time, it's always the exact same names getting all the love, all the credit every single time. Aizen this, mother that, these names are getting shoved down our throat every single time. But if we really took a look at the facts and kept it a buck, these villains got absolutely destroyed. Madara spent years hyping up himself, trading the whole Shinobi alliance like it was nothing just to get single-handedly folded by Black Zetsu, a random ass background character. Aizen's high IQ couldn't stop an emo kid from basically packing him up and wrapping him up like a burrito. They had legendary hype-ups just to get completely embarrassed. But unlike these frauds, the greatest anime villain in history is completely operating on 100% win rate, and I'm talking about the world government / Imu, but I'm focusing more on the world government, which was founded by Imu and Co. It's not even close to anybody else, and I already know some of you are getting ready to say in the comments, but inflows, the world government ain't a person, it's just a political organization. You can't count them. But listen to me, first of all, if you are saying this to defend Madara or Aizen, wipe the drool off your chin, step out the matrix and pay attention. The world government is literally just one diabolical entity that sits on everyone else's happiness for a living. It's a single corporate machine with different departments, and every single one of them, from the frontline marines all the way to the 5 elders themselves, are just brainless puppets following emo instructions like the good little boys they are. Government is traditionally supposed to protect the citizens, but in One Piece, these motherfuckers give zero fuck. They've been running the entire planet since ancient times, since the Ice Age, since the dinosaur era, since Noah's Ark was floating around, and they are still on top. One Piece has lasted this long, or One Piece been running for 25 years straight, over 1100 chapters, and the only reason the story has so much depth, this much trauma, and this much layered history is because of the world government. So in this video, I'm going to be proving to you why the world government is the undisputed greatest anime villain ever created. So lock in and let's dive to the very end. Before we break down their historic crimes, we need to talk about why characters like Madara and Aizen can't even be compared to their skill. When a villain is just a single guy, his whole master plan basically depends on him. He has a massive flaw, which means that any single person could whoop his ass and everything else will come crashing. If you trained hard enough, scream loud enough, or whoop Madara's ass, you could end this entire operation, end this entire ideology and philosophy. The war is basically over after that. If you hit Aizen with a large enough Getsuga attention, you seal him away in a basement and go back to eating ramen. Their whole entire evil legacy relies on them being physically alive and also being strong enough to survive the main character's plot armor. Madara basically spent decades hiding in a cave attached to a wooden life support machine like a Wi-Fi router, just to basically get taken out by a background character. Aizen spent his whole life basically taking off his hair mostly just to lose a boxing match to a high schooler. Bro had a high IQ, but one thing he didn't work hard for is his glass chin. But compared to the world government, these motherfuckers are built different. While individual villains are out here playing checkers, the world government basically owns the board, the room, and the building. They've been running the world like FIFA, pure legal extortion. And if you complain, they just double the price and laugh at your broke ass. The world government operates mainly on 3 completely unstoppable levels that keep all of humanity in a chokehold. Level 1 is financial dominance. They literally control 170 nations. They basically tax every single one of these nations simultaneously. Every single continent, every single island, every single government paying a premium subscription called the Heavenly Tribute just to exist. Like BMW charging folks a monthly fee just to turn on their heated seats in the car. And guess what happens if you cancel your subscription? Your whole civilization gets blown up, stripped of its rights, and abandoned to pirates. And this is where the level 2 comes in, because the level 2 is basically absolute legal immunity. The world government has absolute legal immunity. If the government decides to blow your country off the map, nobody's gonna do shit about it. Who you gonna call? The police? They are the fucking police. They make the rules, write the rules, and are fully backed by the marines they created from scratch. They can commit full-blown war crimes, massacre thousands of innocent civilians, and then hop on the news and call it freedom and justice, and the whole world is just gonna nod and agree. You become a criminal just for pointing out they are wrong. The third thing that has kept them in this business for a very long time is their longevity. The world government has been running the exact same scheme for 800 years. They outlive Joy Boy, they outlive Goldie Roger, they outlive Rock Dizzy Bags. Basically, you can kill a marine today, you can punch a celestial dragon if you want in the mud, but but the system doesn't care. The machine will just spawn a new replacement in the next few weeks. So you can't just punch a system in the face to stop it from existing, and that's exactly why the world government is a true final boss. And some of the top dogs in the world government are the celestial dragons. These people are some of the most awful, disgusting human beings ever drawn in a manga or ever appeared in an anime. They are the direct descendants of the 20 kings who founded the corrupt system that I'm talking about right now, like 800 years ago. And because their ancestors basically won a war back in ancient times that no one cares about, these modern day inbred transparent babies genuinely believe they are gods. They live in this place called the Holy Land, miles above the ocean on the red line, looking down on the rest of the world like ants. They don't even want to inhale the same oxygen as regular human beings, which is why they wear a spacesuit everywhere they go. These monsters basically buy, sell, trade, and torture human beings for sport. If they see a woman they want, they're gonna kidnap her, murder her husband in broad daylight, and make her their 10th slave wife. And nobody's gonna do shit about it because the law fully protects them. The most annoying celestial dragon got to be Saint Carlos. This guy is a weak ass dude. Zero physical strength, zero fighting capabilities, zero aura. Any random citizen could easily rock his world in a back alley, but because his name is connected to an ancient contract from God knows when, he can basically do whatever the fuck he wants to whoever the fuck he wants. And if you dare raise your voice at him, a marine admiral will basically spawn on the island to erase your entire population for disrespecting a god, which is absolutely crazy. Your entire hometown, your family, your business vaporize into ashes because of these inbred suckers. The system basically made the weakest people and the most punchable people on earth very untouchable. The celestial dragons genuinely believe causing human suffering is their divine birthright. That is absolutely sickening. Now, one thing that helped the world government basically survive this long is because of the genius plans they came up with. They didn't hire monsters to protect their image. Nah, they actually did something way more smarter. Honestly, that is the smartest thing anybody could have done. They founded the Marines. The Marines were basically presented to the world as the official global police, the protectors of peace and justice. They wear uniforms that literally say justice on the back. So regardless of what diabolical shit the world government is doing, the average citizen is looking at the Marines and thinking they are the good guys. And the crazy part is that some of them are actually good guys. Garp, Kobe, these guys are basically good guys that protect the civilians. They have massive hearts and they are very nice people. Even the last admiral that left, the guy who blinded himself, Fujitoro, absolute incredible guy. I knew him back in the day. So, but in the grand scheme of things, they are just the ultimate propaganda shields. The world government uses the genuine goodness of men like that to basically maintain their good image and keep the public from asking too many questions. But what happens when the propaganda isn't enough? What happens when a local leader basically starts asking too many questions? Well, that is when they basically deploy the Cypher Pole. While the Marines are the flashy public shield, the Cypher Pole is the secret dagger in the dark. CP9 and CP0 operate completely outside the law, trained from childhood to basically turn off their human emotions and become biological weapons. They will spend years undercover, building trust with a target, learning the names of their kids, eating dinner at their table, only to cut their throat in the middle of the night just because that was their mission all along. If you try to reform the system from the inside, you're not gonna get any fair trial because everything is against you. You're basically gonna get an assassin dropped on you and they're gonna wipe out your entire lineage. So Luffy is not basically fighting your standard shonen villain. He's fighting an entire system that has basically brainwashed its own army into thinking they are the heroes of the story, but they are not. 800 years ago, there was a 100-year gap called the Void Century. The world government didn't just win a war, they literally delayed those 100 years from human history. They wiped every history book, banned the Asian language, made research in the Void Century a capital crime, punishable by public execution. Look at what happened to the scholars of O'Hara. These weren't pirates, these weren't soldiers. They were old, peaceful scholars sitting in a giant tree, reading ancient stone tablet called poneglyphs, driven by nothing but pure curiosity about where this all came from. But the world government said, nah, learning or studying is too dangerous. So they ordered a buster call and sent an entire fleet of battleships to surround the island and basically vaporize the whole civilization. Men, women, children, infants, all wiped in a single afternoon. They burned down the tree of knowledge, executed the whole population just to keep a historical secret buried forever. That is a full-blown industrial genocide to protect a corporate secret. These people were not military threats, they were not evil, but the world government didn't give a fuck. They just kept doing whatever they felt like it. Every single person that basically tried to uncover the Void Century got absolutely destroyed. For 800 years straight. The world government has somehow successfully gaslit billions of people into believing their current oppression is only the reality that ever existed. Real villains write the history books, but the world government, they delayed the whole history, burned down the buildings, and act like nothing happened. The whole world has basically been tricked about democracy, because in the One Piece world, the throne room is supposed to be empty. There's supposed to be a throne, but it's supposed to be empty to basically show that not a single person rules the world. It's basically ruled by every single person. But here is the case where Emu basically sits on that chair. So the democracy that the One Piece people think they are getting is basically fake. The equality is fake. The peace is fake. The global structure is basically produced for people to see whatever they want to see. When the kingdom of Lucien showed sign of rebellion, Emu didn't send a fleet or deploy an army. Nah, Emu casually picked up a pen, drew a red X over the island on the map, and said one sentence: Lucien never existed. And within seconds, an ancient weapon appeared in the sky and basically deleted the whole island from the face of the earth. A whole population, mothers holding their babies, regular people dreaming of something better, vaporized into absolutely nothingness. The ocean rised in to fill the crater. The maps were rewritten and the rest of the world genuinely forgot about the place. Mother basically needed a whole lifetime of prep work just to drop a couple of meteors. Aizen had to build a complex spiritual laboratory just to experiment on a few souls. Emu does this off a casual whim while sitting in the garden looking at butterflies. Emu isn't just a villain that kills people. Emu is a dictator who can basically destroy any single person any single time he feels like it. This is why One Piece is structured the way it is. Luffy isn't just fighting to defeat a single villain like Naruto or Ichigo did. That's the casual shonen behavior. When Naruto fought Madara, he had to just unlock a new Sage mode. When Ichigo fought Aizen, he had to just swing his sword really hard one good time. The bad guy fell, the sky cleared up, the world went back to normal automatically. But when Luffy finally stands face to face with a system, he isn't just fighting a guy with a high power. He's basically leading an entire global revolution against an 800-old system of brainwashing and financial enslavement. If Luffy defeats Emu in a 1v1, the world doesn't just heal. The Marines are still at every base, the Celestial Dragons contracts are still active, the erased history is still gonna remain erased. So for Luffy to win, Luffy will have to basically tear down the red line, expose the lies, dismantle the censorship networks, and basically free all the 170 nations from slavery. So Luffy isn't just trying to become the best, he's really trying to achieve absolute freedom in a world that spent 8 centuries engineering the perfect cage, making sure everybody else inside forgot the wars ever existed. The world government achieved global domination 800 centuries ago and been running it ever since. They control 170 nations through financial extortion. They use good guys like Gup and Cody as moral camouflage. They commit genocide on anybody who picks up a book and reads too deep. They are ruled by a secret immortal dictator sitting on a throne built on a lie, and they delay entire countries from human memories like they are casually closing a browser tab. Madara was a broken man crying in a cave. Aizen was an ego case who got packed up by a teenager. Both of them couldn't secure one single country before the plot armor caught up to them. But the world government, they are the most complete, diabolical, undisputed anime villains of all time. And they've been winning for 800 years straight. It's not even close. Anyways, that'll be all for today. If you agree, let me know in the comment down below. If you disagree, let me know who you think is the greatest anime villains of all time. Please don't forget to like, comment, subscribe so you don't miss the next one. Till next time, au revoir.